of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. First item is approval of the May 15th study session minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the bills list. I did have a question on that one. There was 2 employees that Lori Weisel and Teresa Hare had checks in there.
Yeah, that's because they went down to conference this weekend. Well, last week I went down to conference. Louis had to pay for some bills that was going to cover because the city got canceled, got declined because they out of the areas and they automatically declined it. So I had to call the bank and let them know, hey. And then that one was from mileage.
Getting ready for the rodeo. I see we got some stuff at Klein Schmidt's.
Those uniforms for the new hires.
Is there a motion to approve? Yeah.
Oh, move to pay the bill.
Here we go. Is there a second? All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up, public comments.
Real quick. This is the Smokey and the Bandit parade route that's going to take place Tuesday. And it's coming through Buckner. It will have the Smokey and the Bandit semi and over 100 Trans Ams following. So it'll be kind of cool to see. It's been in Buckner before, about 5 years ago it was here. So it's going to leave Blue Springs. He's going to try and hold it until noon instead of 11:30 like it says on there. So we're going to put it out on Facebook, let everybody know to hang out by the school by 24 Highway.
Tuesday, June 30th?
Tuesday, yes.
Yeah, they're coming from Blue Springs.
They're coming from Blue Springs down 7 Highway to Fort Osage and then down 24.
So it will be eastbound and down.
It will be, yes. Yep. So that'll be something cool if anybody's around. Be out anywhere from, noon to 12:30, I think, and they'll be coming through. So
Just on 24 highway?
they're gonna come down 24 to BB and then goes out to Truman Road. And out on Truman Road, at Wayne Alderson's house, the address is on here. There is a super cool party Tuesday night. It's $10 to get to the gate, but they have live music all night. They will have some of the coolest show cars that you've ever seen.
I guess that semi's got plenty of beer on it?
It's got plenty of beer. Yep.
Boys are thirsty in Atlanta.
Yep. So,
Outstanding.
Any other public comments? Next up, old business discussion, consideration and possible action regarding changes to the food truck ordinance. I know specifically, I think you've got the ordinance there in front of you. Last meeting, we talked about 245.050 sub A, number 5. It talks about the annual permit being $100. I'd like to suggest that we go to quarterly, and it'd be $50 per quarter.
50 per quarter?
Yeah, when I did the math on what their sales would be to roughly equate with our sales tax we collect.
And then it's only $50.
I don't think they're gonna sell for about $20,000.
Okay, I didn't do the math, but it seems low. That's why I asked.
No, when I first did it, I thought so too, but when I started trying to pencil it out on the 75, I was like, man, that's $600 a year.
And they'll need a business license on top of that, so, right?
Yeah, I'm not suggesting we change anything other than the permit was that the permit would be $50 and be
Okay.
quarterly instead of $100 for a year.
Are we leaving the language the way it is?
I'm not.
Okay, then I'd like to discuss that, open that
Okay.
discussion if we could.
Sure.
The reason why we put this in was to protect our brick and mortar businesses. There was a discrepancy on 245.070 that it either took care of 245.080 or one or the other. And Steve was here when we put this in. The reason why we put the 200 feet was for the restaurants over on 24, to protect them, to keep them from putting food trucks right in front of the Mexican restaurant. Yeah, the 245.080 was to protect our brick and mortar restaurants right here on Hudson Street, which is, and it says let's see.
Got it right here if you want. You want 080?
I want number 5 on, okay, number 5 on 245.050. It's, no, that's the permit. No, it is on 080.
Okay.
It tells you Hudson Street District is Madison Street and north to Lake City Road, south to Central, so it's, and then to BB, so it's this Hudson Street block to keep them out. So it's two separate things for two separate things. The Hudson Street's for this area. The 200 feet was to protect any restaurants that are there or might come out on 24, so they can't just park right in front of the restaurants. Take businesses like they're doing in Green Valley. I know that Kurt employs more than 50 employees by himself, not counting other future establishments that are going to be put in over here, and I don't see any reason to omit them at this time. I think it's a good protection for the people who actually spend the money and open up a storefront, and that's what's bringing in all the people, and that's why if there's any food trucks, they're going to want to take advantage of that without brick and mortar, and I think the language is great. I'd rather just leave it alone. The permit, I don't have a problem with that.
My contention is that 200 feet should cover all the businesses, and we shouldn't make 1/3 of the eateries in the town look more special than, because there are 2 here and there are 4 other places. So that I think as a council, it looks bad for us to say we're protecting these people because they just happen to sit in this spot. That 200 feet should more than cover Hudson Street. There's only 2 places here to eat.
Then I would like to make a point to broaden the 200 feet on 24 Highway. If we're going to have that argument.
Because I'm trying to follow so you'd want to alter 080, that? I'm just trying to get my head around what the motion.
My motion is to leave it the same. His motion is to,
My motion is
If
to
he's
completely,
motion, your motion, your vote would be not to support the motion, but you wouldn't have a countervailing motion to stay where we're at.
okay, this is a discussion, right?
So you want to take out B, the Hudson Street?
I want to take out
Just have a-
245.080 period.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yeah.
Not even have 200 feet?
No, 200 feet's in 245.020.
Oh,
Oh, 07.
Or 07, I'm sorry, I remember that right.
oh, okay. And not have 2 separate areas?
Right. Again, I think it makes this body look bad that we're protecting 2 businesses because of where they sit versus the other 4 that sit somewhere else. I think the 200 feet,
I guess I'd have to figure out how far 200 feet is from, if we go from.
It's not very far.
This way.
It's not very far.
I mean, Does it push it past the?
Well, they
district line?
can't park a truck in the slots where people park in front of businesses, for starters.
Yeah,
So that pretty much covers Hudson Street right away.
yeah. Because they can't be in public streets
Right.
first, then.
It's 200 feet is not very far, guys.
Right,
The
they still-
risk would be the parking lot by the laundromat, right? Would that be
Yeah.
in play?
I would think that would be in play.
Which,
But that's
Probably
public,
less
right?
than 200.
Mm-hmm. And that's owned by the city.
But that's public property.
No, that belongs to us.
Does it?
Doesn't, isn't that, yeah, that's our,
That's what,
yeah.
that's why we paid them, no, they signed the correct title to us. Excuse me, and for that, they was allowed to have parking on the building for the laundromat.
Okay, I remembered that, I just didn't remember.
So they couldn't put anything there without coming to the city anyway.
So they'd have to come talk to us.
well, we're not protecting one business, by the way. We're protecting all the business in this downtown Hudson area. It's not just one.
But this ordinance only speaks to the businesses that have,
And the future businesses that are going in.
but there aren't any yet. I mean, that would be something that would, if there were 6 restaurants down here, that'd be one thing.
Well, I would like to know the names of the people that don't want this. I think it came forth because there was a problem or future problem of it. But I would like to know if there's where the future problem is of not having it.
What I'm saying is this, where these parking slots are, they can't put a truck anyway. So Hudson Street's already out of play.
That's 200 feet is not out.
Forget the 200 feet.
I can't. I can't
For a
forget.
minute,
I
for
can't
a
forget
minute,
that.
forget the 200
I
feet.
cannot for a minute forget the 200 feet.
What I'm telling you is you can't put a truck on the street regardless.
The 200 feet is the only thing it would really affect would be if they were putting it in the parking lot by the laundromat.
Right,
Because
which-
otherwise you can't put it in a parking spot on the street.
Right.
So it's the distance is your.
Right, so.
Or an alleyway.
No, you can't block an alley.
I can say block.
Well, there's no hookups back there for anything either, so.
I don't know.
Mr. Mayor,
I don't
if
see-
remember- I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
One of the concerns was not necessarily that they're putting their truck on, right on Hudson Street, but just across the street is private property, and so the food truck pulls in and says, can I park in your driveway for $50? And they're just essentially kitty corner from your empty lot, your parking lot, and they're there set up, and they're on private property, and, the homeowner says, sure, for, $50, you can park there.
Yeah, because that's in the ordinance, right, about
Well,
putting on private property.
they could be,
Right.
right,
It's in the ordinance now.
correct, but they couldn't do it if they're in the district.
Right.
That's why we established the district, because the concern was that they would be allowed to be on private property.
So the old Ford dealership would
Correct.
be a property.
Yeah, I just-
They could pull up there and park and, and then also trying to figure out, do they have permission to be there or not? By the time we get that all figured out, they're done and gone. And so that's why we did the downtown part. And the thought was also that for the restaurants that are down on the highway, several of them are in a shopping center. So our thought was and belief was at the time that the shopping center wouldn't allow them to put a food truck there. And if they did, well, then that's on the shopping center, but they had to be at least 200 feet away from the restaurant.
Right.
And the only one that was really of a concern, the two were, the thought was the Sonic. And well, Casey's isn't gonna let them, and so, we figured 200 feet was enough.
Yeah, so they'd be on the corner there, it'd be the northeast corner. of
Correct.
that empty lot, but.
Though I think way back when this was drafted, there was a building there, if I remember, on that corner. But anyway.
Nothing's cozy corner.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to provide information
No,
about
that's good color.
why we did the grid and the section. It was essentially to prevent somebody from, well, okay, yeah, you can park on my land, and you're right here, within the same district and, walking to the thought was back then, I don't know I'll find out later tonight, but Toscano's that was jamming, and it was, people waiting outside, and the thought was, well, dang it, pizza food truck's gonna be right there, well, I'm not gonna wait, I'll just walk down to the food truck and pick up a pizza, and, because they didn't wanna wait for Toscano's. That was the conversation,
Right.
anyway.
Yeah, and the thought was not to just prohibit them from coming into Buckner, was prohibit them from making it easy to steal business that was already here in this area.
Right.
So let me throw this in there. You recall that there was, I don't remember who it was, wanted to put a food truck in our lot over here. But we did,
HCC is on it.
yeah, somebody wanted to put a truck over there for it, some,
I think it's Tammy Coles, wasn't
I don't remember who it was. but
it?
it
Yeah,
was-
she's gonna have a fence for the Thursdays and all that.
Yeah, it was, for the third Thursdays thing. This ordinance keeps them from doing that.
Well,
Yeah, but we're supporting third Thursdays.
This is-
I
I think we
can
should
have
have been-
special waivers.
Right, but then if we exempt that parking lot, that way and, they have to come to us anyway.
yeah, this is a clause that says that special events have to go to the mayor and me.
It
Right.
actually, it's 245-080A specifically says, motorized food trucks shall operate only in these approved districts. Motorized food shall not operate within the Hudson Street District unless a special use permit is obtained or a festival is authorized. So if they wanted to do that food truck for their Thursday night things, they could either come in and ask for it to be declared a festival,
Yeah, that's
or
kind
they
of
could come in and get a special permit. But they could do either one and make that happen. It's just a matter of a special permit.
That didn't speak to how much that special permit costs.
No, there's no, yeah.
I don't think there's a.
No,
fee.
I think it just had to come from me and you, we could approve it. Now, you would say.
Because again, special events, like whether it be,
Yeah, it could be a fundraiser for
Right.
Girl Scouts or something.
yeah, because I don't think we typically charge for that, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 245-130 says it can be granted by the mayor or the city administrator.
Okay, so they didn't have to come before the board then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I would tell you, I just went on Jackson County Parcel Bureau, and 200 feet from the front door of Toscano's is past the parking lot, barely past the parking lot. The city-owned parking lot.
Yeah.
But the other side of the street, I think.
No, that's, it just barely passes
Yeah, right.
the parking lot.
Right.
That's going
Not
from
the
front
other
door.
side, right? Okay, but not the other side of the street?
No.
Okay, that's good.
I'm just giving you reference, that way, you know, 200 feet.
Mhm.
And Madison is Pleasant Bank, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
This 200 feet, is that where the 100 feet from Toscano's building each direction? Or is it 200 feet that direction and 200 feet that direction?
Good deal.
Leave it to Alderman Joe. 200 feet is in the eye of the beholder. And I'll leave it to the chief on how his officers choose to enforce and measure the 200 feet.
As the crow flies.
But they're all in question.
I think the most reasonable answer would be from the edge of the building to the edge of the building. So the far north end, 200 feet that way, the far south end, 200 feet that way.
That makes it 400 feet then.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. And the width of Toscano's, if you want to go the whole.
I wasn't worried about the business of Toscano, I just want to know where the line was starting and ending.
This now, Toscano's is twice as wide as it used to be since they opened the other side. Did you measure from that side or from me?
No, I'm not sure the front door of Toscano's right now. I mean, I know he's got a ball going in on that side, but I don't think it's open yet.
Well, they had a quote-unquote grand
Did they?
opening they were doing, so, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't, no, I measured the front door of Toscano's,
Yeah, okay.
the restaurant.
yeah, okay.
And it's not the most accurate, it's Jackson County Parcel Bureau, so
Your officers here, take me.
So to be clear, either the mayor or you can say yes, you can park your
a
special.
special event, so they allow 4 special events a year. It's like, I know one time that the health place down there wanted a food truck because they're gonna do some kind of activity, and they wanted one.
Okay, fair enough. Motion to table.
All right, so we are tabled.
Tabled.
Next up, new business, discussion, consideration, of possible action regarding.
So do we not need the 50, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, So Joe budged me and said, draft that $50 truck to change the fee. You still want that done?
I'm sorry. I completely
Yeah, but we
forgot.
can do it next meeting.
Okay, I understand. I just,
I'll live with that.
okay.
Who will second the table?
Nobody.
Give me a second.
I don't think so. I think-
You get the second table? All right. You good?
Next up, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding the Chamber of Commerce request. I think last time we talked about the chamber wanting to hold the meetings here. I think Mr. Miles, were you?
Yes. We wanted a place that we could kind of call home, and we didn't have to jump around different addresses like this, no matter who the chamber president would be. The home is here at City Hall, we can have our meetings in here, you know. We meet the third Wednesday of the month, we're usually in for about an hour, second Wednesday of the month. We usually meet for about an hour or so, you know, hour and a half, but we move stuff back whenever we're done with it, be sure to leave it like we found it.
And I think the discussion we had previously was that as long as the city was a member of the chamber, that would constitute the sponsoring agency or something. We could be the hosting agency or something, so that if the Triple K wanted to do
Sure.
something, that's how we're gonna rationalize that they don't get to use the space.
That allows them to use the address as a permanent home, right?
I would assume.
And the city has continued their membership forever, so it's
Yeah, really cheap for a
member.
member. Me and Chief goes, try to go always gonna be.
You bet, yeah.
What about, does there need to be a sponsor down here, or?
But I mean, me and the Chief.
Chief Joe. The main thing is that the city belongs.
Yeah.
It's something-
Well, I meant for purposes of locking the place back up.
Well,
But this
it's
is
at
happening
noon during
anytime.
the day. It should
Oh,
be a-
during the day, okay.
We make, we
Yes.
should make a motion.
Yeah, it's 10:30 to 11:30 typically right now.
I'll make a motion that the Chamber of Commerce should get to use the city hall for their meetings.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding the Wall That Heals event. There was a discussion about making a contribution last meeting. I think, general fund, not as robust as I'd like, but I think we could probably afford $1,500 in there. That
Yeah, I think that's
was
what
council's desire. Make that motion.
I'll make a motion. to Provide $1,500 for the wall.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks a lot, everyone. It's gonna go a long way, and it really does mean a lot to have in our community. It's gonna be a big deal.
Discussion, consideration, action regarding bids for tree service at the park. Madam Park Board President.
I gave you the packet, I mean, I got the
Okay.
bids, and they gave the email. You
You
just
should
kind of-
have 4 bids to look over. We've chosen the cheapest one, which is Victor Tosin, and he can come out next week. And he bid his a little bit differently, but I had him, I made sure that he worded it down below in a paragraph that it would be 2 days. He's also given us after 1 day, if we don't like the service, then we can just drop it. But it should not take over 2 days. We're having trees trimmed out. There's a few dead trees, and we're having those taken out. Just an overall cleanup.
You were gonna have him itemize it, didn't?
I think he's charged it by the day versus.
He
some
is.
of them.
No, I get that, but I thought that's what you had mentioned last night.
Yeah, well, there's photos in there.
So the photos are the itemized, okay,
Right.
all right.
And he's insured and all that good stuff.
Yes, and his insurance I sent, he's the only one that turned in
He's
insurance.
got
so-
insurance, covers it for them.
All I did is insure.
Yep.
And he's not doing stump removal, so he just cut them tight and.
Right.
Okay.
Right, and there's only 3 that's coming completely out.
Where are those at, the 3 depths?
So one of them is on our extra parkland, it's down Park Avenue, you know, the land I'm talking about. So that little inlet, where the street goes in, there's a large tree behind somebody's house. And it actually had part of it fallen over. So it's completely dead, so it's coming completely out. As you go into the park, on Park Drive, there's a tree right there that one hangs over the road, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it, it just needs to come out. It's not very big. Then there's another one that hangs over Field 2. That one needs to come out, and it's tall and skinny, so it's not anything huge.
They're getting rid of the waste, or is it going to our burn pile, or where is it?
Yes. And that's another reason he said, you know, they were gonna charge to haul it off. So made it a little cheaper.
Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Victor Tosin tree service.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding repairs to the UV system.
Yeah, we got the UV system that keeps on shutting down on us, and we don't know why. I mean, the whole bank's gonna shut down, and the reason why that's important is right now we're in the season where we have to meet E. coli limits, and we're not meeting them right now, because it keeps on shutting down. He's tried for 2 days to get the E. coli working. I mean, the light's long enough so we can get the sample to get through the month, we get tested monthly. So he pulled a sample this evening, and he should hopefully be good tomorrow, you know. But anyway, it's gonna cost $7,948 to have the company that manufactures the UV system to come down, diagnose it, and see what's going on. We personally think it's some kind of do with the main electrical board, it's on the signals, maybe that shut down, but we won't know until they get
So
here.
7,900 just to diagnose? Thanks.
Did we get some kind of agreement with them earlier?
That was just for this, supplies and startup. This is actually to fix the PCL unit that controls the whole. So it needs to get done, because if not, we're gonna contact DNR and let them know we won't be able to meet our E-code limits until we get the machine going. This is gonna be our next step if we can't get it passed.
Where are they coming from?
Well, you know,
Because I see this is North Carolina, I'm sure they got a rep here.
no, they probably come in North Carolina. I'm sure that's what the main company is. I didn't ask that, so I don't know. But these, the train reps, so.
Well, we gotta have it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have to meet the code, E-code limits, so we're gonna be out, we've got some fines for them, DNR, we don't have limits.
That's not that downstream. So we got a motion.
Motion by Ruben, second.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Get back to business shortly.
That's a good time to throw.
Elected official comments.
I had a lengthy discussion with Joe today, and so I appreciate this sheet as far as saying it's on here, but every second meeting of the month,
Yes, take a
it says what Public Works has done that month. So it's kind of might be a cool thing for all of us to keep track of, and so I something that I think we all would really want to make sure that everything of what's getting done, you know, whether potholes or whether, you know, other things. He discussed the meter reading for me. You want to
Yeah, you
want to let them know about what's.
want to know what we did with the company coming in?
You looking at me or the mayor?
No, mayor.
Okay, sorry.
I'm trying to remember, you do so much, Joe, I
All right, I'll let them know. A couple weeks ago, I had a meeting with the vice president of Zinner and a representative from Windwater. We agreed that they are gonna send 2 factory-trained technicians out to Buckman for 2 weeks solid. And I'm gonna send my 2 new guys with them, and they are gonna guarantee by the time that they leave, that this system will be 100% operational. All meters will be fixed. We got some balance issues going on out there. They already looked at the system, so they know what they got themselves to get into. I also got in writing that if it takes longer than 2 weeks, then the rest of the time is on them. But to get these 2 guys out here for 2 weeks is gonna be $10,000. That for airline tickets, hotel, and food. So like I said, we got, currently the meters are going up. Right now, as it says, last go around, we had 281 meters that are not functioning properly. And so I called the mayor and see if we get the ball going now, and we agreed to get going because we gotta get this meter situation fixed and get it fixed right. Plus, we got 2 brand new guys in the water system, so this will give them 2 weeks of training.
My suggestion also was that if this doesn't completely solve the problem, that we go out and manually read the meters, not let it go till July, or like,
Well, that's not what we're supposed to
estimate
do,
from.
right?
And I also told,
Agreed.
I also told them, I'll talk to my meeting this afternoon with them, was Zuno has a website that has our city on it with all the maps, and has all our meters on the map. And if the meters are green, it means they're good. If they're red, it means they're not reading properly. Once we get the system 100% operational again, I got down at Public Works in the office that used to be JD, now it's just a regular office for anybody, it's just a Public Works office. We got 3 monitors. That map, I had IT fixed on that monitor, so it stays on that monitor permanently. And I informed Bob Sumner, who's our insurance Public Works director, and I informed Dalton, who's I'm kind of proven to be the water guy. Every day when they come in, the first thing they need to do is look at that map, and they see 1 red dot, go investigate and get it fixed. Whether it's a meter gone bad, an MIU gone bad, whatever it is, antenna gone bad, go get it fixed, not wait till it gets out of hand. So every day they're gonna be checking that map. So we won't get to this point where it's 281 meters not reading.
Yeah, Joe showed that to me last week, and it's nice to see that, well, where someone does it, because my meter wasn't reading a couple of months ago. So we pulled up the map, and mine shows green, so I went to Casey and I said, is it reading? And she said, yes. So whatever the issue was, whether it was a wire or whatever, it's reading against the map.
And then also to include training for Casey's on some of the software.
Good luck.
So they're gonna come, I told them, they're gonna be here either mid-June or late June or July. And like I said, they guarantee that one, I got it from the Vice President, that they guarantee that they will not leave it till it's 100%.
And we've done this before, right, where they come
Yeah.
out for a few days or weeks.
Yeah, well,
As long as they were supposed to.
yeah, well, what happened in the past, we have done it like twice, but we've never had nothing to ever build us, because the reason why is, like you said, we were supposed to have a week at a time, and they would fly in on a Tuesday, and they would leave on a Thursday, so it was only here for 2 days, and nothing got done, so they could never build us for those, and I think that's why. But this one, like I said, he guarantees that we have 2 weeks solid.
So if they're not fixed, they'll come back at their own time?
No, they're gonna stay, no, they're gonna stay, they won't leave until it's 100%.
And do we have that in writing?
Yep. And like I said, we guarantee for 2 weeks, we pay, and then after that, if it takes 3, 4 weeks, it's on center after that. And that's from the Vice President.
Also, we talked about he's got a list of appraisal. They're gonna appraise to see what it's gonna cost to fix some of the streets that we discussed. And I asked if he could add the alley for the police department, which our police department should not have to drive out of that. That's ridiculous. And then the alley behind here with all the businesses, that shouldn't be that way either. So, I would rather have this done first before the streets.
But I have a hard time justifying that the people that pay the taxes don't get their streets fixed.
It's kind of a catch-22 though. They pay the taxes for them to do that.
Do we still have a bunch of millings down at the wastewater treatment?
We got a few, but MoDOT has contacted me, and when they do the bridge repairs north of town, which they're gonna start next week, they're gonna do this with Aldermen. the contractor who they awarded the contract to, he contacted me, he's gonna give us the millings. So I told
So
Bob.
could they spread them down this alley?
Yeah, I told Bob that we could, either one way or another, I could see if they would split them for us, you know, we had a dump truck and we had a Bobcat here, we could split them as they dump them, that way they could just get the millings from 24, dump it, and go, or they can store, we can store them out, dump it up and split them out back here, whatever, but he's gonna give us the millings for free.
And that'd be a way to kind of split the distance. Because I'm assuming when you're on those bids, can you also get like a chip seal?
Yeah, I get all of it, I get like we did with Park Avenue too, you know, chip seal, you know, I get both bids, I bet both ways.
I say the streets fund is just a little thin, right?
Yeah, it didn't, my thing was it doesn't hurt to get the bids, and even though we could discuss it.
Sure.
But definitely, it's not good. I hate to just keep tucking it under the rug as bad as it is too. That's why I wanted to make mention of it. Sure.
I did want to bring up, I'm hoping that we're closer to having something that I can present for a vote on the wastewater treatment plant. It looks like, currently we're gonna need about $680,000 to finish that off with the reed beds. That's including the total project cost is gonna be about $1 million, but we've got 300,000+ on the ARPA money that we committed back in December. I was checking, had Joe check, and we've talked to the folks at NetCap, or something, whatever they call it, so to speak, that they think we can get 5% money. So that would put our payments somewhere between $12,000 and $13,000 a month on a 5-year note. So I was hoping to keep that short term, as I don't want to borrow money that's gonna take longer to pay back than what we're building lasts. So, I mean, I hope that lasts more than 5 years, but, currently we're running a surplus on the sewer, or we believe we are. Joe's gonna continue to evaluate that, but what we did with the rate change, we got 1,000 rooftops, and so if we move the bill $10, if we're bringing in $10, we should have enough to cover that, so. I think it'll get us with the DNR piece, that should help us with the ammonia levels and what have you, to get that to where we're not getting those little nasty grams every fall. So I'll hope to have more for you at the next meeting. So we gotta get something from Gilmore Bell, the bond agents, so we'll see. We haven't forgotten about it, it's still working, kind of churning in the background, but we just, good news is that we've kind of been using that ARPA money to pay as we go, so we're still, I think there's like 376,000 in that account still, so.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I don't know too much with our investments and so forth, that if we have money at a bank and it's in a certificate of deposit, usually you can borrow that. If you're getting 3% on your money, you can borrow it for 1% over.
Yeah, so it'd be about 70,000, I think, that we've got, because we've got a couple of CDs, so.
I thought that might be an option.
Yeah, that'd be worth checking. I mean, you can check with Cody and see what Gilmore Bell. They're talking about a lease buyback, kind of, is I think what they were proposing, so.
Yeah, lease purchase.
But if we can get the money to pay that, borrow our own money, so to speak, that would be a win all the way around.
Well, got to ask you Dave, about the bugs. Did you come up with anything on that?
They're still testing.
They're still testing.
Yeah, we sent to 2 labs. It came in with high ammonia, both labs already tested for ammonia, and it came in at 45 milligrams per liter, which is almost 50 less than 2. So that's right enough, is bad enough, but we're trying to figure out, because we think there's cyanide in it, so we still, I'm waiting for the results from them, and that's gonna be a decision we're gonna have to make once we get the results back. I mean, technically, we can shut them down and make them pre-treat, it's in our orders, so we can shut them down, make them pre-treat for the abnormal sewage that has a direct effect on our plant, which that is doing right now.
I'm not suggesting this, but are we in a position to levy a fine?
I think we'd have to have somewhat incontrovertible evidence that they were the ones that did it.
Yeah, if we find out they did, indeed do this.
I'm gonna do a fine, but, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna charge for the bugs, and it costs us a couple thousand, each 25 bucks.
Damage would be, I mean, the penalty would be how much it's cost us to repair it. And
No one else has anything, we take a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We stand adjourned, thank you all for coming this evening.